So this video shows you how to catch a swarm of bees, and in part 2 of the video I show you how to take that swarm and put it into a top bar hive. Now these videos are part of my forthcoming bee course, and please subscribe to the channel to be notified when the new course launches. Thanks and enjoy the video. So here I am with this swarm of bees. Now the swarm decided to land very low down. Normally most of the swarms I've seen, they'd be landing somewhere in a bush or in a tree and be kind of above you, but this particular swarm landed very close to the ground. So it's going to be a bit of a challenge to shake them into anything because just in the position they're in, but I might be able to perhaps drive them up into a skep or a box or something like that. So we'll have to see how to do it best. But this is, for me, this is the first swarm of the season in Ireland. So it's late April, and this is the first swarm. It's a beautiful day today, 17 degrees, and yeah, the bees have, at least one of the colonies anyway, had made preparations for swarming. So it's fine, because what I want to try and do is to get the swarm into my top bar hive. So normally the bees, when they're swarming, they're very gentle. So I just happened to come from another hive, that's why I have the bee suit on. But it's always fascinating to watch swarms. They're always very beautiful. So I'm here with the swarm and I want to figure out how to catch them. They're in a kind of a difficult position in the sense that they're on the ground. Now it might be a possibility to smoke them up into something. I have a skep hive here, so I might try that. But first of all, I'm going to cut away any excess branches around, just to make it a little bit easy for myself so I can get access to the swarm. Ideally what I'd love to do is to cut that branch they're on off and shake it into, I have a container here, an old box, so I could use that, just dunk the bees in there, and if the queen goes in and I close the lid of the box and make a space for the queen and the rest of the bees to go in, then they should all enter the box. They follow the queen. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut away some of that, some of those branches, just to see if I can get better access to the actual swarm itself. Now, this particular bush is of no particular importance to me in the garden, so I have no trouble cutting it. Okay, I'll just chop away a few branches of it and try and get access to the swarm in a better way. Every situation you face with a swarm is going to be different, so everything to do with beekeeping is about being adaptable and just dealing with whatever situation you find yourself in. But that makes it endlessly interesting, because you're dealing with nature and everything's different, new challenges. Now I'm just going to try and remove some of these extra branches, so just make it a bit easier. I'll shake those bees into the box. I have my box here with me, and if I'm going to try and get them into that box, I think is the best solution. And then once I have them in the box, and once the queen goes into the box, then I'll have the swarm and be able to put that swarm then into my beehive. So normally the bees don't sting when they're swarming, but just I want to be a little bit careful. If I see any sign of aggression, then I have my bee suit ready, and I'm going to pop on my suit. I'm just going to dump them in there, and the thing is I need to get that thick, they're on a kind of a thick branch, so it's a little bit tricky. I can't really cut it with this thing. And you can see that so far the bees are not bothering me, since there's no stinging. Normally what happens is when the swarm leaves, the bees fill themselves with honey because they want to go and create a new nest. So you'll find that when they're full of honey they don't sting, they're very kind of placid. However, if you have a swarm that's been around for a while, maybe without going to a new home, and you can find that they have become hungry and maybe that they could be a little bit more aggressive. So just be careful, always be careful. I think that lecture where we talked about safety and we talked about, you know, just being always ready and not to be complacent with bees, I think that's good advice. Now, awkward position. So I'm going to keep chipping away at this and see if I can get better access to that swarm. Now, one flew in my face there, but didn't sting me. And if I get any sense of aggression, I certainly have my hood at the ready, and I will zip up my hood. Now if this was a nice thin branch, I could just cut the whole thing off and take the bees with me, but I'm making progress here. Just, you know, I'd love to be able to cut that thing at the base. It would be really helpful, but I don't know if I can. It's a bit thick. Yeah. Now I'm just deciding what to do, whether I should try and cut that branch or whether I will try and smoke them from below and try and drive them up into either the box or the basket. It's a little bit thick, that's the problem. I might be able to cut it. It seems to be cutting a bit anyway. I just keep going at it. Might be the quickest way to deal with this swarm is to cut this branch. If I can do it in a way that's not too rough. Okay. I think I'm nearly there. I'm going to just dump all the bees into this box. Now, of course, as I said, if they were hanging on a branch up here, I could just yank it and the bees would all fall in. But I think I have it here. I can get it without it falling down. Be easier. Now, I've nearly cut through the whole thing. I'll just get a better grip on it. So far, no signs of any kind of aggression anyway. Yeah, nearly there. I don't want it to fall down. To be able to grab it. So I'm going to grab it now and drop all those bees into the box. I'm just pushing the rest of the way. Yep. Okay, got it now. Now, you see that? I'm going to dump them all in there and hopefully the queen will go in there. And I have a lot of bees now in the box. Okay. Okay, so there's a lot of bees in the box, and I'm just going to try and get the rest of the bees. And this is where I'm going to have my bee brush, if I can, and scoop them in. Yeah, I just got my bee brush. So there's great confusion as half the bees are in the box and half are still here on this. I'm just going to move that out of the way so you can see what I'm doing. And try and grab as many of these bees and brush them in here as I can. Okay. I'm just going to dump them all in here. The idea is get the queen. Oops. There's a few. Okay, I had to rush away there in a bit of a hurry because I started getting a few stings. The bees weren't very happy when I started brushing them off the wall, so I had to rush off and pull up my hood. So I'm back again. I want to finish off. What I want to do is to brush the rest of the bees into this container. This was the part they didn't like and they started stinging me. So as I said to you, always be ready, always be careful. So you can see they're not very happy about that. But what I'm trying to do is get as many of the bees as possible off this wall and into the box. because that's hopefully then we'll get the queen, and I can hear bees going for me, and you might hear it on the microphone as well. But anyway, I'm going to leave it at that, and I'm going to show you what's in the box. The bees are in the box now, a lot of bees, and hopefully the queen is in there. And if the queen is in there, then what will happen is all the rest of the bees will join her in the box. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to close that box a bit like that, but leave a space for the bees to go in. So if the queen is in there, all the bees will go into the box. If the queen is still on the wall, then they'll come back out and go back onto the wall, and then we kind of repeat the operation, and that's basically how it works. So I'm going to just leave that there, balancing on that. But first of all, I am going to give you just a close-up shot of what's happening in the box. And by the way, I do have my smoker handy as well, so a lighting smoker, so just in case I need it. So if I wanted to drive the bees, for example, up into the box, I could have used that. Now let me just show you what's going on in the box then. And what you're looking at now is you're looking at the bees on the wall, and you can see the various bees there. There's still a number of bees on the wall, and most of the bees are in the box. There's a bit of confusion. Now if you look at the box, I left a space for the bees to go in, and you can see the bees there on the entrance to the box, and they're fanning, and they have their tails in the air and they're fanning, and what they're doing is they're sending out a signal for the other bees to come. Now hopefully the queen is in there and the rest of the bees will join them in the box. I'll just open the box and give you a little look at what's going on in there. Okay, now you can see the bees, most of them are in the box, and hopefully they'll all go in there and they'll form a cluster in the box. So you can see them all in there. So I'm just going to close that lid then, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to go off and I'm going to have my tea or my supper, and I'm going to come back later and see if the bees have all gone into the box, and if they have, then I can then transfer the swarm into a hive. But for now I'm going to wait and see, and come back later, and hopefully all the bees will have gone into the box. That is if the queen is now in the box.